I want to bring everybody's attention back to Fukushima. Since the whole thing started in the very beginning, I was on top of the situation with my own personal concerns, and I took some action as far as getting away. I think that's the first thing you need to do, is have a survival mechanism, but also you don't need to react so drastically, not in the first few days, and that's only if you were right in Japan, in that region where it happened, what they call the prefecture around Fukushima Daiichi, the nuclear power plant. I mean, obviously then people need to get out of there. They're displaced. They're refugees. And many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people died just because of the tsunami. So I was on top of the cutting edge information that was coming out, the facts. I was doing research, and we reached a peak of that in the public, especially when it concerns the Western world, the Western media centered around the United States. And I did some videos about that. And if I remember correctly, it was around January. And since then, the interest level or the attention that it's been given has seriously dropped off. So you have certain people that are following the story on a weekly or daily basis, and I can tell you that I'm not one of those people. You know, this is a decision on my part because I have a lot of other interests, and I don't think that my viewers are going to appreciate the fact that I'm just covering one subject matter or one event, which, you know, Fukushima is one event, but it's tied in with everything else. I've said many times before, even in the beginning, in the first day after it, or within the 48 hours, I said that this is so major that we will not be able to comprehend it for a long time. In fact, most people still don't comprehend it. So what I'm saying is that there is a lot going on with this. It still is a major problem. If it's getting worse, I'm not sure, but my impression is that it very likely is getting worse. And what that means is that the people who are supposedly in charge of it, who are controlling what gets done about this Fukushima problem with the radiation, the leakage, you know, the ongoing meltdowns, they are not capable, they are not competent, they should be removed. And unfortunately, it's a corrupt government hand in hand with a mafia. It's a cartel. And everybody should know that the nuclear industry, the power industry is high-tech, it's tied in with the military-industrial complex, and everyone should be calling it for what it is. It is a criminal cartel. That's what they are. And that's how they should be dealt with. That's how they should be talked to. That's how they should be addressed. That's how I'm going to approach it. And I have been doing this since the beginning. When I was a child, I had people that were trying to promote it. They were loading me up with pamphlets and everything and trying to tell me how great it was. People that I know personally who are close to me, no disrespect to them, because you know, they don't know. I know they're ignorant, and I let them know that. Actually, they don't know they're ignorant, but I'm letting them know that. And they worked on this. I had friends that poured the concrete, that did the work. I don't know any particular, the designers, the technical people that are operating the plants, I don't know. But at least if they do their job to the highest efficiency level, maybe we wouldn't have any problems down to a really slim margin of error that could happen. But these facilities deteriorate, and there's nothing that can be done about it because maintenance and repair and upgrades are not being done. So even if the technician is perfect and he doesn't come in to the job sleepy or in a bad mood or having Alzheimer's, not remembering something, he didn't push a certain button, or he missed when he wrote down or punched in some numbers. Even if they're completely perfect, this whole system is going to have problems, and there will come a time soon in these years ahead of us that they will all start to deteriorate down to a poor condition. And this is the nightmare that's coming, because Fukushima is just the beginning. That comes from this huge cataclysmic thing, which also, folks, if you didn't know, look up Jim Stone, look up any other thing about that the earthquake was artificial, that it was an act of war. Look this up if you don't know, because I'm not going to do the whole video about this. Do a web search. And regardless of that, anything cataclysmic, these power plants will deteriorate and they will start to leak, and they will have problems just because of that, which is the case with 3 Mile Island, which was the case with Chernobyl, as far as we've been able to tell. And after all these years, more than 10 years, I mean 15 years, Chernobyl is not widely understood. And on top of this problem, that we're in the dark about it, we're not aware, on top of it, we have the critical issue that Chernobyl also is deteriorating. That is, the sarcophagus around it, what they call the sarcophagus, is going to break apart because of the pressure inside, and also erosionary forces on the outside because the temperature changes and this and that. Because it was actually put together in such a frantic rush. So it can't be made properly. That means that that whole area, the Ukraine, and whichever way the wind blows, up into Russia, down into the Middle East, or over into Europe, whichever way, is going to get more contamination when Chernobyl breaks apart more, because there's a meltdown inside of there. So it has to be dealt with. Maybe that's the reason why people don't seem to care so much about the Ukraine, because they don't want to deal with it. And I said this when the Ukraine internal conflict, proxy war that first came out in the news, I said, Chernobyl, what are they going to do about that? Now that the region becomes politically unstable, now that the focus of all the evil, irresponsible, corrupt powers that be are making their geopolitical moves around Ukraine. What are they going to do about it? What are they going to do? They're not going to do anything that's any good for the rest of humanity and the rest of the planet. And this is the problem. They have to be removed. People that are in power have to be removed. I'm coming for you, personally. Keep watching this channel. Even though Google and YouTube is suppressing me since they figured out what I am, but they're just letting it come out a little bit, like, because they don't want to, disturb me too much. That's why they're doing this. But I'm telling you the shit that's so important that you should be out in the street, you should be doing the kind of research that I am if you don't believe what I'm saying, and disprove it. Or if it's true, if I'm lining up the facts, I'm connecting the dots properly, then you should be doing something about it, just like I am. I'm going to places, I'm making things happen. I'm part of a non-profit that we just started in the last year called Peace Production. Look it up, Peace Production, on the web search. Second of all, since I said connecting the dots, I remembered the fact that a few of these people that are doing reports on Fukushima every day are questionable. I'm going to do a whole video about that actually in the next, let me do part 2.